When we were kids, my sister and I were inseparable. She was 2 years younger, but we felt like twins, always sharing secrets, building forts in the living room, and racing to the dinner table to see who could make Mom laugh first. Those days felt infinite. We didn't know back then how easily time could slip away, or how silence could slowly build walls between hearts that once beat in sync. As we grew older, everything changed. I got busy with school, then work, and she drifted into her own world, new friends, her phone always in hand, laughter I wasn't part of anymore. We lived in the same house, yet it felt like we were on different planets. We'd pass each other in the hallway and only exchange brief glances, polite hellos, maybe a half smile if we were lucky. The warmth was gone, replaced by an uncomfortable distance neither of us seemed brave enough to break. Mom noticed before I did. She's always been the quiet observer, the one who sees the things no one says out loud. One evening, while I was scrolling through my phone on the couch, she sat beside me. Her tone was soft, but her words landed heavy. You know, she used to cry when you'd go to sleep first. She thought you didn't want to talk to her anymore. I didn't respond. What could I say? I didn't mean to hurt her. I just let time carry us in different directions. She still keeps that photo of you two at the beach in her diary. Mom added, she misses you even if she doesn't say it. A strange ache formed in my chest. It was easy to ignore the distance when I thought it didn't matter. But hearing that from Mom of all people made it real. She wasn't accusing me. She was inviting me to remember and maybe to repair. Just talk to her, she said finally. Do something. It doesn't have to be big. That night, I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, playing back memories like they were scenes from another life. Her laugh when we played tag in the backyard. Her tiny hands reaching for mine when she was scared. The way she used to cheer the loudest at my school performances. How did I let that all fade? I realized then that love doesn't vanish overnight. It dims slowly like a forgotten lamp in a room you stop visiting. But if you care enough, you can still turn it back on. The next morning, I stood at her door for longer than I expected. It felt awkward, but something stronger than pride made me knock. When she opened it, she looked surprised. I simply said, "Want to grab ice cream later?" She hesitated, then smiled, small but real. "Yeah, sure." And just like that, something old stirred back to life. It wasn't much, but it was a beginning. A step toward what we once had, a quiet promise that maybe we weren't too far gone. I wasn't sure how to act around her at first. We sat across from each other at the little ice cream shop we used to love. The air between us felt stiff, like we were strangers pretending to remember how things used to be. She looked down at her cup, stirring the melting scoop with her spoon, and I searched for the right words. "I passed by the old park yesterday," I said, hoping it would unlock something. "They still have that broken swing. Remember how you used to fight me for it?" Her lips curved into a half smile. "You always push too hard. I thought I'd fly off one day." That one line, that simple memory, cracked the silence. We both laughed, quiet but honest. It wasn't forced. It felt like we were peeling back a layer we'd forgotten was there. After that day, things began to shift. Small, barely noticeable things. She'd knock on my door before dinner and ask if I wanted to come downstairs. I started checking in on her. Before heading out, just asking if she needed anything. We weren't making grand gestures. We were building a rhythm again. One evening, while sitting in the backyard, she asked, "Why now?" I thought for a moment before answering, "Because I missed you." And I didn't realize how much until Mom said something. She nodded, then looked up at the sky. "I thought you just didn't care anymore." "I did," I said. "I just didn't know how to show it." She didn't say anything, but the quiet between us was no longer cold. It felt full, like something unspoken had finally settled between us. The more time we spent together, the more I saw the parts of her I had forgotten. How she still laughed with her whole face, how she hummed while doing the dishes, how she had this habit of tying her hair up 3 times before it felt right. She hadn't changed completely. I just hadn't been paying attention. One night, she brought out an old board game we used to play. We stayed up late talking and playing like nothing had ever broken between us. At one point, she looked at me and said, "I'm glad you knocked on my door." "Me too," I replied, meaning every word. It didn't feel like we were fixing something. It felt like we were uncovering what had been buried under years of silence and assumption. There was no apology needed, no big explanation, just time, effort, and the quiet agreement that what we had was worth holding on to. By the end of that week, I didn't have to knock on her door anymore. She'd already be waiting. It surprised me how quickly everything started to feel natural again. Not forced, not staged, just easy. We weren't trying to fix the past anymore. We were simply living in the present. Our conversations flowed better. We joked more. And the silence, when it happened, felt comforting instead of awkward. I realized I'd missed not just her company, but the simple peace her presence brought. One afternoon, we ended up organizing the old storage room. It was cluttered with boxes we hadn't touched in years. In one of them, we found old family photos, school projects, even a birthday card I had written to her when she turned 10. She read it out loud, laughing through the words. "You wrote, 'I'll always protect you, even from Mom's broccoli.'" I laughed too, but part of me felt something deeper. That card was a promise I'd forgotten. She looked at me, then, serious for a second. "You really meant that, didn't you?" "Yeah," I said. "I just didn't do a great job keeping it." She didn't say I was wrong, but she didn't hold it against me either. That was the thing about her. She always carried quiet forgiveness. We started doing more things together without even thinking about it. She'd help me cook dinner. I'd help her rearrange her room. We didn't talk about getting close again. We just were. And Mom? She watched from a distance, never interfering, but I could tell it meant everything to her. Sometimes I caught her smiling at us like she'd known this would happen all along. One night, my sister handed me something wrapped in brown paper. "Open it when you're alone," she said. I waited until everyone had gone to bed. Inside was a small notebook filled with little notes she had written over the years, things she wanted to say, but never did. Some were light-hearted, some were raw, honest. One page said, "I hated how far we drifted, but I never stopped hoping you'd come back." That one hit hard. I read every page, some twice. She had never raised her voice, never demanded anything, yet she had carried so much in silence. And I had been too caught up in life to notice. That night I sat for a long time, holding that notebook, realizing how much she had loved me even in distance. The next day, I thanked her. I didn't make a speech. I just said, "That book meant a lot." She smiled and said, "I just wanted you to know what I never said out loud." That was her way, quiet but deep. We didn't need to say everything. We just needed to show it. And now we finally were. We had stepped into a version of us that felt stronger than what we once were, not just siblings, but real companions again. And for the first time in years, our home felt whole.